6:06 right now. The Supreme Court rewrites the rules for regulatory agencies.
Morning, Howard.
Good morning. For nearly a century, the federal government has entrusted certain forms of regulation to independent agencies, from the Consumer Product Safety Commission to the Securities and Exchange Commission to the Federal Reserve. All three branches of government accepted this as a public good. But President Trump has tried to assert executive power to replace commission members. In a 6-3 vote, the Supreme Court threw that out, ruling that presidents may replace regulators for any reason or no reason. The justices made an exception only for the Federal Reserve, where officials may be replaced for wrongdoing, but not for partisan policy reasons. The Wall Street Journal editorial board this morning hypothesized that the justices made a practical decision not to trust the president with monetary policy. U.S. crude oil has been holding above $70 a barrel as U.S. and Iranian officials issue contradictory statements about what's going on in peace talks. For example, the White House says peace talks are going on today in Doha, capital of Qatar. Iran's foreign ministry denies it. After gaining more than 300 points yesterday, the Dow is up more than 160 points this morning, or about 1/3%.